In this video, we're going to unbox this Sony X90J 4K LED LCD television and go through the picture settings in the user menu. Keep watching. So this is the pair of feet. And this is presumably where the manual and also the remote control is. Let me try and get the remote control out. So it is just the basic black remote rather than the premium backlit one found on their flagship TVs. And what I'm going to do now is to take off the plastic clips at the bottom of the box. Now on bigger screen sizes, Sony has devised a way for users to install the feed by slotting it in from the bottom, which is really our preferred method. But there is no way to do that on this 55-inch version, so what I have to do is to just take away the styrofoam and then lift the screen up. And try and install the feed in a sideways method. Now you can see here that there are two possible slots for you to install the pair of feet. You can put it in the inner position, which will allow you to place the TV on a narrower AV rack. But because I like to spread the legs as wide as possible, I would go for the outer position. And I'll do the same for the top as well. This video is sponsored by Box, the online technology store. Visit box.co.uk for the best deals on TVs, soundbars, and all your other technology needs. So I've finished unboxing the Sony X90J 4K LED LCD television. I'm going to go through the setup process and explain the picture settings in the user menu. So I've gone for English and let's select the country. Can't believe it's all the way at the bottom. And then I'll just set up basic TV for now because I'm just trying to get to the good stuff. And if I can skip this, I'll do all this later. Proceed. Right, just enter any pin of your choice. I'll skip this. I'll connect later. I'll skip this. Okay. Normally the Google TV home screen would be populated, but because I skipped it, then clearly it isn't even connected to the internet yet. So what I'm going to do is to press the cogwheel or settings button on the remote control, and then I'm going to go through the picture settings in the user menu. So if I can go to picture settings, the default picture mode is standard, which is far too blue in terms of the color temperature. So I normally would change it to something else. But before that, what I like to do is to just turn off the light sensor, because we want the most accurate picture that is not affected by the light sensor on the TV. So I'll switch light sensor off, and then we'll change to one of the more accurate picture presets. But I'll go through the different picture modes on this TV. So the vivid mode will be the sharp mode, which is again far too garish and blue. Standard is the out of the box picture preset, and then cinema would be suitable for watching during daytime a more accurate picture. And then with game mode, what we are trying to achieve is a lower input lag, and with graphics mode for PC use. And then with the photo mode, the color space will be targeting one of the more popular RGB or sRGB color spaces for photo retouching and things like that. But what we are concerned with would be the custom picture mode, and this is the most accurate out-of-the-box picture preset on any Sony 2021 TV for critical viewing in a dark room. So we'll go with that. And then what we'll do is to make sure, again, light sensor is turned off, and then we'll go through the different picture settings in different categories. Under the brightness category, we have brightness. This will affect the light output on the television. This, in the previous years, would be known as backlight. And what I'm going to try and do is to try and align this to about 200 nits according to my camera. So if you can bear with me for a while. Okay, so I'll just align this to around 200 nits. And then with contrast, this will allow us to set the digital white level. If you drive it too high, you may start clipping some whiter than white detail, but if you drop too low with this, then you will be lowering the actual dynamic range of the picture that is presented on screen. So I will just stick with 90 as the default in the most accurate picture preset. Notice that whenever I try to change any setting that has to do with the light output of the TV, I get this prompt or pop-up notification that says that this change may increase the power consumption more than the normal configuration, which in my opinion is very annoying. But it has to do with the EU power regulation, and different manufacturers have different ways of complying with the EU regulation. So Sony has gone with probably one of the more intrusive methods. Gamma will affect how the input signal is being translated to the picture on screen. So let's say if you want to target 2.4 gamma, you should go for a gamma of -2. I'm talking about SDR, or standard dynamic range content, by the way. And if you want to target 2.2 gamma for viewing in a brighter environment, then gamma 0 will let you approximate gamma 2.2 power function. We'll just stick to -2 for now. And then with black level, this will affect the video black level. If you drop it too low, then you may crush some shadow detail. But if you go too high, then you may be elevating black level unnecessarily without any increase in shadow detail. I would just stick somewhere close to the default value of 50. With black adjust, this will manipulate the near black gamma to present a stronger near black contrast, but again, this may crush shadow detail. So in the interest of accuracy, I would normally just leave this off. And then with advanced contrast enhancer, again, this will apply an S-shaped gamma by compressing the shadow detail and also the highlight detail to give more pop to the image. But for image fidelity and accuracy, I'll turn this off. Auto local dimming will dictate the local dimming algorithm, and this is a full array local dimming LED LCD TV. It is probably the most affordable one within Sony's 2021 TV lineup. And I think, there has been some debate about whether medium or high is more pleasing to the eye when it comes to the blacks and also the shadow detail. But, I have had experience with reference broadcast monitors costing more than £30,000, and in my opinion, medium is always the more accurate auto local dimming setting in terms of the balance and in terms of the highlight as well as shadow detail preservation. And peak luminance, this would be useful especially for HDR. If you want to hit the highest peak brightness that the TV is capable of, then you will have to go with a peak luminance of high. But I think, for say normal SDR content, maybe peak luminance off would be sufficient. And again, I will need to test all this, whether different peak luminance setting will affect the gamma tracking or not. And I think that on previous models, Sony have called this extended dynamic range, but they have changed the nomenclature to peak luminance in line with their OLED. So again, I will be interested to see how this performs when I come to test this television. If we go into the color subcategory, color will affect all the colors on screen in terms of the luminance and saturation. And if you bump it up, it will make all colors more saturated, but not necessarily more accurate. But if you go down all the way, then you may turn the image monochrome and desaturate all the colors. I would just stick somewhere close to 50, which is the default value. Hue will rotate all the colors depending on the direction, towards red or towards green. And then color temperature will affect the grayscale presets on this TV. So Expert 1 and Expert 2 are the most accurate color temperature out of the box on Sony televisions, but because Sony is using an alternate white point at factory, which is the white point that is being used by their RGB OLED mastering monitor, it is not accurate for LED LCD TVs, but Sony has been doing this for years now, which is why with the color temperature of Expert 1 and Expert 2, you will still get a bluer color temperature than the D65 white point that is commonly used within the film and broadcast industry. And then if you go to other color temperature presets, it will just turn the image even bluer. So I'll stick to Expert 1 and Expert 2 for now. Live color will increase the vividness and vibrance of all the colors, but not necessarily in an accurate manner. So in the interest of image fidelity, I would always turn this off. Under the clarity submenu, we have sharpness, which is the edge enhancement control, relative creation, which is Sony's proprietary database-driven upscaling cum noise reduction algorithm, and I, as a matter of principle, would always try to turn things off. So I would go for a resolution of minimum and turn off relative creation altogether, but I'll just leave it on 20 for now, just to get past this setting. And then with random noise reduction, this is basically temporal noise reduction, and then with digital noise reduction, this is a spatial noise reduction that deals with impact compression artifacts. And smoke gradation is a decontouring filter that works pretty well to reduce the posterization that is seen inside lower bitrate content. And under the motion category, we have motion flow custom, which is the default preset in this custom picture mode. But you can also change it to auto or turn it off. Notice that we have actually made the power notification pop up with even changing the motion flow setting, and this is because under motion flow there is black frame insertion, which again affects the light output of the TV, and whenever the light output is affected, this pop-up warning notification will appear, which in my opinion is a hindrance to my work as a reviewer and also a former professional calibrator. But let's stick with custom. Under custom, there are two separate settings here: smoothness and clearness. Smoothness applies motion compensated frame interpolation to the picture, and the higher you go, the stronger the interpolation that is being applied to the image on screen. And then clearness will apply black frame insertion. And I think a combination of smoothness and clearness will be necessary to activate the XR motion clarity technology to achieve the highest motion clarity on this Sony X90J 4K LED LCD television. Note that if you actually bump up clearness, this will apply what we call a localized black frame insertion, or black zonal insertion as I like to call it. But if you go all the way up, then you will see a very drastic drop in brightness of the picture, and also maybe you can see some flicker on screen as well. So we will never go even beyond 1 if you are so inclined to use this black zonal insertion technology. And with film mode, this is something to do with film mode interlacing. And in previous years, there is only the auto and off setting, and it may be too aggressive, causing some microstutter in 50 Hz broadcast material with mixed edits. So new for 2021, I believe that Sony has introduced an intermediate low setting, which worked well to still apply some film mode interlacing, but in a less aggressive manner, so as to not incur such stuttering in 50 Hz broadcast content with mixed edits. But for 60 Hz centric material, for example, from the internal TV apps, you will still need to set film mode to high to recover 24p cadence, so as to avoid seeing telecinic judder. Again, I will test all this when I properly review this television over the next couple of weeks. With video signal, the short story is that you should leave all these on auto, and the TV will automatically apply the correct transfer function and also the correct color space according to the video signal. And under advanced color adjustment, we have the 2-point white balance controls, and R gain stands for red gain, green gain, blue gain, red bias, green bias, and blue bias. The gain controls will affect the brighter portion of the grayscale, and the bias controls will affect the darker portion of the grayscale in terms of grayscale or white balance calibration. And if we go down, we have a 10-point multi-point control here, and this allows us to fine-tune the grayscale calibration in 10% video stimulus intervals. And if we go up all the way, we can go to 10, which presumably equates to 100% video stimulus interval. I am not entirely sure whether this TV will be able to unlock the full 20-point white balance controls with Kalman, because last year's H90 or X900H LED LCD did not allow for that, but I would be interested to test it with Kalman. Maybe because of the new Bravo XR chipset on this TV can actually unlock the full 20-point white balance controls. And then per color adjustment will allow you to calibrate the colors on this TV using Sony's color management system, or CMS. This is an HSL color management system which allows you to adjust the hue, the saturation, and also the lightness for the 3 primary colors of red, green, and blue, and also the 3 secondary colors of magenta, cyan, and yellow. That completes this walkthrough of the picture settings on this Sony X90J full array local dimming LED LCD TV. I will spend the next few weeks, testing and reviewing this TV. So if you have anything in particular that you would like us to test, feel free to leave a comment in the YouTube section below. If you would like to watch more videos on Sony's 2021 televisions, please click here for our playlist, and I will see you in the next video.